Hi, everybody. It's, I almost said Monday, Tuesday, June 4th. This is the weekly community call for chaos. Really glad to see everybody here. Oh, we just lost someone. Oh, there she is again. Great to see you here, Charlene. I'm glad you made it. Charlene was at our newcomer hangout this morning, so we got a chance to chat. That was really lovely. I hope everyone's having a great day. As you know, this is under the Chaos Code of Conduct, so just keep that in mind as you interact with us. And of course, as always, you do not need to put your camera on. Don't feel obligated for that at all. We do not care at all here. Yeah, so if you want to just chat with us on the side, that's fine. But if you'd like to turn your mic on, that's also fine. We are very easy. I'm very curious about this sunrise sunset thing. I don't know why. I just am. I think it's interesting to me. I know, I'm a nerd. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty early. Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're in the tropics, so we don't have
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a shame because, yeah, I mean, I
I
would
love
want,
long daylight nights, for example, like summer nights, like
yeah, yeah,
sunset at 9 p.m. That's my thing. I love it.
yeah, me too, me too. I think Matt's probably in bed by then, but that's okay. That's fair, yeah.
Day.
I'm just kidding. I was literally in bed at 9 o'clock last night, so I can't say anything. Yeah, it was weird going to bed with the sunlight out. Yeah, anyway,
It is a
um,
little weird. I agree with that. It
yeah,
feels like daytime.
yeah, it does. We used to trick our kids, yeah, because yeah, anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, so I will not do that. Okay, so everybody has homework for next time. If you would like, you don't have to, but if you want, would be interested to see if we have some recipes that share, like your favorite recipe. Since we are kind of a global community, it would be awesome to just have a place to share some recipes and to do some of that. I'm always curious about that. I'm a terrible cook, but I will absolutely try any recipe. We haven't really figured out, maybe we'll put them in a repo. We kind of talked about that, I think, Matt, somewhere. I don't know. We can figure that out. How do you guys want to share those?
Let's
Is
make
a repo okay?
a whole chaos repo called recipes.
Yes, I'm down for that.
People would, I think, assume it has something to do with community health, but
Right?
I already added a healthy recipe.
There you go. Yes, I love it. That's great. That is great. Yes, we can drop them here. And then maybe we will put them in a repo. Who knows? I love it. And as Stella knows, I've been doing Duolingo for 103 days now, so might even be able to understand a word or two of that. I don't know. What are the odds? Okay, well, let's hop into it. Stella, since I know you got to go soon, do you want to give us the Chaos Latin America update?
Yeah, thank you so much. Hi everyone, I'm Sele. My pronouns are she, her. For those who don't know me, I'm leading the efforts from Chaos here in Latin America. I'm based in Costa Rica. And a little bit about the update is that last week I participated and co-organized an event that it was part of the Latin American Festival for Open Source Software Installation. It's called, in Spanish, it's called Lisol. And we did it with the Technical University and the Technological University here in Costa Rica, where we had three different groups of um, computer engineering students. Most of them were men, sadly enough. As we all know pretty much in our environment how that looks like. Um, so I presented the work that we do here in Chaos, and a lot of people were super excited to know that we exist and to know about all the resources that we have for them to feel supported in whichever journey they end up taking within their career, their academic career, their work career, or their pretty much their lives. Something that did come that I wasn't really expecting in that sense is that I really wanted to talk about the importance of our metrics and so on and how they could use it. But since they're so like young into like this entire world, they couldn't really grasp the idea on how to use it. So I was trying to be creative and telling them like, okay, so this one you could use it for this and this and this and this, even like if you're trying, for example, and also like our badging for events and for projects, because they're still not organizing events and they're pretty much like just starting to look into what their projects could look like. So I started talking to them about like, even like for like your school events, if you want to use our metrics, if you want to do this. So it was really interesting. They had a lot of questions. Three of them already reached out to me that they want to participate in Chaos. A lot of them also, like the people from the institutions like from these 2 universities were talking about the possibility of having CHAOSScon in Latin America. And I was like, yeah, like, why not? But they also wanted to know about the possibility of attending first a CHAOSScon and what kind of support can we give them, or what kind of things they might need in case they actually end up going, and so on and so on. We also talk about starting like regular monthly or bi-monthly like small meetups. It could be in person or it could be like virtual. But yeah, people were really interested in the work that we do. And they're really eager to learn more, and they're really eager to participate in. So they're still trying to figure out how to get into Slack because it's not such a commonly used tool here in apparently. So yeah, I've been talking to them and I'm excited. Do you have any questions, ideas?
So, Sal, are most people like interested in getting into tech or open source, or is open source a path for that? I don't know. Did you get a sense of any of that?
Yes, and I also talked a little bit about like our connections that we also have with the industry and so on, and they're really interested in also like getting to know, for example, I don't know, people from GitHub, from GitLab, even people from like our universities, to know a little bit more about how their career path could look like in that sense. I told them that we're super open into like supporting them with that. And also the person who co-organized this with me is like a really well-known open source activist here in Latin America, in the region, in Central America, but really well-known here in Costa Rica as well. So that's also like a huge plus. And yeah.
So, what do you think?
We had around 40 people.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you be interested in hosting a CHAOSScon somewhere, like somehow in some
Yeah,
place?
I'd
Okay,
love to have a CHAOSScon here in Costa Rica, or we could do it like in another country in Latin America. But I know that in Costa Rica, we could have like the physical structure at the technological university. We could have like the organizational support with the technological of Costa Rica. Like it would be easier if we could host it here, because I know that we wouldn't have to like do much, because they would have like everything, like they already have their whole, like, I don't know, roster of how they do things in terms of like organizing events. So yeah.
so how would you, so kind of like when there's CHAOSScon Africa, it's such a big region, and same with Latin America. Like, like, how do you,
I have no idea. It's the first
okay,
idea though.
yeah.
But I think we could do it like, for example, it wouldn't have to be necessarily like CHAOSScon Latin America. It could be CHAOSScon Central America at the beginning, for example. We could
Gotcha.
just do like the first 5 countries here in the region.
Okay.
If we really want to get like into getting the entire region into that, might have to do it like elsewhere. Costa Rica, it's too expensive for us to
Is
do that.
okay.
I think like the best shot would be Mexico as well, because they have like one of the biggest and most like thriving open source communities. And that's why like after this, going to Mexico and try to replicate this over there and so on and so on.
How expensive is it to travel through Central America? Out of pure curiosity.
Well, it's pretty expensive to go, like, for example, our up north, like the border country up north, Costa Rica, it's Nicaragua. And just to get someone like a plane ticket from Nicaragua to Costa Rica is like $500. And it's
Oh,
a 45-minute.
this is that's
It's
expensive.
really expensive. So I was thinking if we do it, like either do it here and get people to come traveling by like ground traveling, or if we do it in Mexico, it's cheaper, like all those considerations are still not entirely clear, but I think it would be really great. And also
Yeah.
because I have contacts with what would be like MIT from Latin America, which is the Tecnológico de Monterrey. So pretty much like MIT was created, and then Tecnológico de Monterrey was created pretty much the same way in which MIT was created. And then Tecnológico de Costa Rica was created based also in Tecnológico de Monterrey and then MIT. So we have
Interesting.
like a chain of
Yeah,
tech
yeah.
universities.
Okay, this is great. Very interesting. Thanks.
And also just to note that if we end up doing something with the Tecnológico of Monterrey, we have like, there's an entire feminist research network that works with community, also works with open source, also works with AI and so on and so on. And that could also leverage like a lot of like the trying to get people to come to CHAOSScon, for example.
That'd be great. Because I know that like Ruth has worked with OSCA, Open Source Community Africa, in the past to try to, build interest and support. That's great.
Exciting things. If you, I don't want to take much more space, but if any of you have any other questions, if you have suggestions, if you have comments around how and what we're doing here in Latin America, please ping me over Slack or just send me a message from wherever you feel comfortable sending me a message. Yay, so that was me.
Great update. Thank you, Sally. This is amazing. I love to see it. I love to see it. Anybody else have questions? Comments? Fair enough. All right.
Also, I just wanted to add summary.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Much, I talk too much. Just to say also that another like strategy that I'm trying to work around here in Latin America is that not necessarily just going to specific CHAOSS events or just like academic events around open source or just like specific open source conferences or activities or events or anything, but I'm also trying to get closer to other communities that might use some of our resources. Like, for example, I'm going to try to present the work that we do at the FOSS4G in Brazil. FOSS4G is the free open source software for geomatics, I'm sorry, that is going to happen in Brazil in December. It's like the biggest conference for open source geospatial, like software, for example, and present like the work that we do there. So that's also another idea on how to talk about what we do with other communities. And also, if you have any experience doing that as well, please also ping me, send me a message, tell me how it went for you. If you have any ideas on how I could do it better, or who should I be reaching out to as well here in the region, I would totally like be super grateful if you do that. So yeah, that's it. Now I'm done.
You are fine. That was good. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for all your work there. Okay, anything else for Sela before we go on? Okay. Next one on our list came from the DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Working Group. I think it was Mary Blessing, who is on the call, had gotten a request from a non-open source event to inquire about getting a badge. So we started this conversation in DEI working group, and it got very interesting. There were pros and cons. So I just wanted, we wanted to bring it to the greater community to open up more input from folks, whether you think this would be a good idea or not a good idea to do.
Can you give a few of the pros and cons?
Yes, I can. So one pro was that we already have the infrastructure in place. We have a pretty robust team of badgers. So we could probably easily bring on, expand the pool of candidates that would get a badge, assuming that it would not be like an explosion of, new applicants. We thought we could probably handle a few extras. And the things that we ask are not really actually specific to open source in particular. They're mostly about how the event is being run. So things like event accessibility, event location inclusivity, code of conduct, family friendliness, those are the kind of things we ask. So we don't ask about specific technologies or anything that could really be super tied to open source. Some of the cons or maybe the pushback a little was that we live in the open source space, and that is where our brand is, that is where our community is, that is where our focus is. So it might dilute our brand or be confusing to people if we start badging events in completely not related spaces at all. So and the other comment that was made was that we should if we are gonna do it, we should be deliberate about it and like make it a thing, make it an announcement, make it, make it a thing that we have thought about and made a deliberate or a mindful decision on, not just a reactive, hey, we got this application, should we do it? Yeah, let's do it. Like it should be a little bit more planned out and well thought out. So that was the gist of the conversation. And if anybody else that was in that conversation, if I missed anything, please feel free to add it right now. Because I'm going by memory and that is always sketchy, so.
I think that's that's good. That's all fair. These are all fair points. I think a long time ago we had talked about the potential of doing this for like academic events. I don't know what the event is that had brought this up this time. Was it academic or was it just?
I don't know. Mary Blessing, do you remember what event that was wanting a badge?
Yeah, yeah, it was the C++ community, yeah, events.
So it's still in tech.
Yeah, it's still in tech. Yeah.
I mean, part of me is like, if we can help other people center DEI in their events, what? Great. I mean, that's good that's just good. It's just a good thing to do. So anyway, that's at least my first thought. And then I agree. You don't want to. You would probably need to scope it like the application would be like, are you, an open source event or open source or tech related event or something like that. But yeah, is C++, has it been open sourced at all? Like, is the language, didn't Microsoft?
I don't know. I didn't think so, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The C family of languages are, I'm not sure they're really open or closed source. They are languages that predate our obsession or the prominence of open source. C++ libraries historically have had some vendor specificity to them, but I don't know if that still exists because the big battle back in the day was between Borland and Microsoft. So, that's going back a long time.
And I think there, in some tech events, there's a lot of like, just crossover. People are mixing technologies and some events are a little more generic than others. So, I don't know.
Yeah, right, because like, you could kind of go down like, could C++ be used to create an open source application? Sure. Is everything, say, at some of the events that we badge open source? No. Or is everything open source at some of the events we work with? No. So I don't know. My inclination is sure. At least that's my immediate thought, in this particular situation.
And there are events like Code Mash, which is a mash of all things that are in tech, open and not open. So, sometimes the lines are blurry.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe limiting it to tech events might help the scope a little instead of any random event that happens to pop across our radar.
Right. Yeah, I don't see it as being a big problem.
Do you think, and this is for anybody too, do you think we need to do like a big announcement? Any pre-work that we should do prior to badging these events? Or do you think we just kind of quietly do it and see how it goes and then make a deal about it? Like, how do we want to move forward, I guess, with it? If we do decide.
Quiet would probably be, yeah, pilot first,
Yeah,
quiet.
pilot. Mm-hmm.
And then maybe just like we can start changing our language, how we talk about it just saying like, badging open source and tech events, you know,
Oops. Language quietly to open source and tech. Yes.
right, because I mean, just because a organization has some software that is proprietary, I get it though, like it's proprietary, doesn't mean that they can't have an inclusive event.
Right, yeah.
They are
And
mutually.
again, to your point is if our goal is to make everything better, rise all the ships together, then
Yeah.
why wouldn't we? Yeah. Stella, I see you have your hand up there.
Thank you. Can I ask a quick question about our badging? Just in the sense of like, for example, before doing this, should we maybe, this is just an idea, think about putting together some sort of summary about the impact that the badging event has had, like getting some metrics, sharing it like a small publication, and we can pilot it, and then we can say like, and because of all these great things that have already happened with our open source communities and the open source events, that's why we're also going to expand it, for example. But do we have any of that in hand?
Yeah, I mean, we have numbers around like the number of events that have gotten badges. We have metrics around our number of badgers that are badging events. We could look and see how many we get like per month or per year, however
Yeah.
we want to do it. So we do have some metrics we could use. As
And
far as
also-
oh, go ahead.
No, just wanted to add that maybe we could also like talk to some of the organizers from previous events and get to have like a quote from them for them to tell us like the impact of what badging looked like in their events. If badging one of their events like set a precedent for the next events that they were organizing, for example. Like you would give it like a more or less than like trying to get something like qualitative and not just like metrics to make it like more like storytelling human-ish publication or something, or just like message.
Yeah, I like that, especially if we do like a one pager, like a blog post or a PDF. I think the folks at the LF would be happy to provide a quote or two. I don't think that would be a challenge at all. I know, hasn't Apache done some recent applications, Elizabeth?
I think so. Yeah.
We could reach out to Brian, like what's his interest in even doing this? What's the, you know what I mean? So I think there are a few people we could get.
Yeah, definitely agree. Yeah, I was just thinking, like the Berlin Buzzwords folks, they also have been huge badge supporters since the very, very beginning. They were the first to be badged, I believe. So definitely we could reach out to them as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea in general. Like even if we decide not to do anything else, I think that's a great idea just to have it.
Yeah, to have like some sort of like institutional history or memory of what the project has been looking like from like the beginning all the way up to now.
Yeah, and we could also, since everything is done in GitHub issues, it's all open. So we could also kind of just file through some of the old issues and the old conversations from the very beginning. And I know there were several times where changes were made to events because of the application, which showed up in the issue itself. People, went away and then came back and said, okay, now this has been fixed or is better or whatever. So I'm sure we could find that if we dig a little bit too. So yeah, great idea. Any other thoughts, comments? Oh, Mary Blessing, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that since we are looking to keep some of this data, maybe would it be okay if we added the question if it's an open source event or not an open source event, in the application form that event organizers get to fill out before submitting to us to get badged.
Sorry, I just clicked on you by mistake. Yes, we can. I think we do already ask if it's an open source event, or like that's one of the listed in our requirements right now is that it has to be an open source event. But we could certainly change that and just ask them if it is or not. Was that your question, right, Blessing? Is that something we can do? Is that
Oh yes, oh yes.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, what other thoughts? Bye, Stella. What other thoughts do we have? Comments, questions? I think what we should do is bring these points back to the DEI working group where that conversation had originated and maybe continue it there. But we did want to include everybody if we could, because people might have feelings about this and they may not be able to attend that DEI meeting, so. Awesome, okay. I think the next few are mostly just some announcements. So if you are not familiar with the FOSSI conference, it stands for, I don't know what, Free Open Source Software E. I don't know what the Y is for. Yes, no, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't stand for anything. But that's a great conference. It happens in Portland. I think it's July. I don't remember now. And I guess we could look on that and see. Submit your talks by June 14th. Oh yeah, August, here it is, August 1st through 4th. It is in Portland, Oregon in the United States, but it is very similar to FOSDEM that happens in Europe. So yeah, we would love to see some CHAOSS talks there. So feel free to send in a talk idea. The next one is, I think we have Victoria on the call. I don't want to put you on the spot, Victoria, but I did want to share this with everybody. I think we shared it in the DEI working group and maybe here too, I don't remember, but just in case I put it on the agenda anyway, just to let people know that this is a thing we're doing, the CHAOSS Africa community is doing. It is an outreach event with this Project Enable to bring some folks who are living with disabilities into open source because their voices are incredibly important. And they will make all of open source more inclusive. So yeah, Victoria, is there anything you want to say, or I'm not sure who else is on that committee. Ray Blessing, are you on that committee too? Oh, Victoria unmuted. Okay, good.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. The event is scheduled for the 10th of June, which is basically 6 days from today on Monday, and we're excited about it. Like you already explained, it's an event to welcome people with disabilities into the open source community because we need them to build products with us. They're literally going to know about accessibility more than we ourselves, right? So we want to welcome them in different working groups, and which is one of the main reasons for the event. Another reason is to put their careers up there, get them to be more intentional about creating careers for themselves through open source and tech in general. The plans are we are almost set. We're basically just waiting for the day. We already have our participants ready, our collaborating communities, and all the preparations. We're basically dotting our I's and crossing our T's and waiting for the day of the event. I think that's the summary so far.
I think it's going to be an excellent event. As Victoria said, they've already maxed out their participants, maxed out the number of volunteers. So that's really exciting. I did have a question for you, Victoria. So before the event, you all held an orientation for volunteers to empower or educate those folks in how to interact with folks a little bit better. Is that right?
Yeah. Project Enable themselves, they hosted the sensitivity training for the team, the volunteers, the speakers, to know how to relate with these people, speak respectfully to them, and every other interaction that will be going on during the event. So everyone who showed interest to volunteer either was a part of the training or was sent the recorded video from the training.
So my question is that something we could share in the broader CHAOSS community just in general? I think it would be so helpful for the rest of the community to just have some of those basic skills and that basic information. I think you all called it a sensitivity training. I would love to take it myself. Is that something that we could make available, or was that something that we was just for that group?
Honestly, I think the training, the video, it's important for everybody. So I would send a copy of the video to you and make it available to people in the community. I think it would be amazing if everyone has a knowledge. Since we are going to be introducing them into open source and chaos community as a whole, everybody should know how to relate with them and interact with them. So I think it's a great idea. I'll share the copy of the link to, I think I should probably share it on the chat.
That would be so fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to take that and to help us all just, just be better and interact better with folks. So yes, thank you, Victoria. Yay. That makes me very happy. Any other questions or comments? Anything for Victoria on this event? I just want to add one other thing. Like, I think this is such a great example of people in the community having a great idea and just running with it, and I love it. So I was telling the folks in the newcomer call this morning, like, I think that that's something. I don't know if it's special to CHAOSS. I'm sure it happens in other open source projects, but I feel like here it really is. If you have a good idea and you have others that are on board with you, then like, it's something that you can probably do, especially if it benefits the CHAOSS community, if it benefits open source, if it benefits the participants, then yes, I'm really happy to see this happen. And yeah, so thank you everyone who worked on this. It's great. It's just fantastic. It really, I think, sorry, this is, yeah, might sound cheesy, sorry, but I think it really embodies the values that CHAOSS has of just making open source in general more accessible to people all over. So thank you. Okay, the next one, I'm guessing unless there's other questions, comments for Victoria and that team. Okay. I just wanted to bring this up. This next metrics development working group that's happening on Thursday, there's some big topics that we're going to be talking about. So I want to make sure everybody knew that was happening. I think maybe finalizing this template, unless it's been finalized already, Matt.
I think it's been finalized.
Okay.
I think I had to drop off the last DEI call where this was being, like I had done, I think one of the calls, I forget, I had done like a rework of one of the metrics using the new templates.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how that went. Like people were like, this is horrible, or.
Yeah, it went like this right here. That's how it went. We just took notes for you.
Okay.
This was something that I'm not sure who brought up, but like what the actual measurement is. And then someone else was wondering if we can cross-link with metrics models or practitioner guides. So there was a little bit of discussion around that.
Yeah, I'm super hesitant on cross-linking just because that's just those are all those links that you have to maintain then.
Super hard to, yeah. I think Kevin brought up about the fact that the website might be able to do it. Like maybe we can do it through tags or something instead.
That would be fine, but not like
in the doc itself. Yeah, might be unwieldy to maintain.
I think so too. And then in terms of just like what it measures and what it informs, that's fine. That almost seems like something beyond what I'm trying to do. Because all that I'm doing is when I take the description and the overview, I'm really just merging those two into one overview statement, and if there's not a lot of rich text, like if you don't feel like it's describing, you know what I mean? If whomever doesn't feel like it's describing those two things that were in there, well, then that's kind of another story. And somebody could put a PR in against the overview.
Yeah. I mean, we do ask, or like give guidelines to describe what you're measuring, I think. Like, I don't know what else.
It is there, yeah.
Yeah.
And if the description is kind of poor, then, yeah, that seems like it's beyond the template a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those who haven't seen it, this is going to be our new template, which is a little bit more concise. Not a little bit more, it's a lot more concise. And then we're going to try to hide this stuff that people can still access if they want, but it's not just like in their face, every metric, just a wall of text, which is what it is now.
And as we move forward, I'm going to be looking for folks to help me start working through these metrics now that I think we've settled on a template. So if you have an interest in kind of redesigning some of the metrics, please reach out to me or join one of these calls.
Definitely could use some volunteers on that project. And also for those who were on the call this morning, this is exactly what I meant when I said sometimes things crop up during meetings that aren't really documented anywhere, but that are just kind of mentioned or pop up organically in a meeting. So, and then whoever happens to be at the meeting is the first to know. So yeah, this is a prime example of that. Matt, we weren't sure what this meant, keeping track in our metrics. Like we weren't sure what you were thinking about that, if there was something specific you wanted to.
So the one that I was doing, let's see, click on.
The metrics audit.
No, click on DEI. And then scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. So there, the one row 48.
Okay.
Click on that.
Click on this? Oh, yeah, okay.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
Click on common, maybe.
Oh, common.
Scroll up. Maybe at the top, down. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to find. Let me give you
Okay, no worries, no worries.
it's mostly just a workflow thing, like how to get this done.
Got
Like,
you.
And I think that what I'm proposing to do is that like, oh, here it is. Go to common,
Mm-hmm.
and then see row 7.
Yes.
We're over in column F, and if you scroll a little bit further to the right, there, if you click on that Google Doc, that's where I had suggested the change. So we would actually do the change in a Google Doc.
Okay.
That is, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
I wasn't sure if you were keeping like under this metrics audit, if there was like a column you were gonna put in for follows V4 or whatever.
At some point.
Okay. It's too much. It's too much. For those who haven't seen it, it's linked in the top of our agenda up here. It's our metrics spreadsheet. It's kind of where we keep track of all of the metrics that have been released or are in progress. So it's very big and yeah, a lot in here. But if you happen to be poking around in here and you see something that's interesting to you and you want to start working on it, you should bring that up in a meeting and we'll get you started. Okay, cool. Thanks, Matt. Okay, I'm guessing that Sean maybe put this on here.
Yeah, just a heads up to the community, the metrics.ks.io, our software as a service, still works, still running, and we're transitioning the place where you create accounts and enter new data over to a different architecture. So while that's happening, I just won't let people log in or add new stuff. Expect that to be done the next week or so. That's it.
Okay. Fair enough. Any questions on that for Sean? This is about the Augur specifically, for those who might not be familiar.
Yeah, it's the Augur and 8NAT software as a service sites that we have.
Okay. Well, we have 6 minutes left. Anything else we want to talk about? Sophia, I feel like you sometimes have end of meeting comments. Not to put you on the spot, but now's your chance.
Not today.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I did love the sunset sunrise comment though.
Yeah, I can't, gosh, I can't imagine 4:25 a.m. That's just, yeah, ridiculous. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop sharing. I think we're about done. You get 5 minutes extra back, so you're welcome. Great to see everybody here. Thank you to the new folks for popping in. Great to see you, and we'll see you here same time next week, same place. Yes, same Zoom call, everything. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. See ya. Bye.